Chairperson, for the second time in a row, the SCOPA meeting with the SABC executives does not get to discuss the business of the day. Take us through what is happening.
You will recall that there is no board at the SABC because the board expired in October 2022. The parliamentary processes by the Portfolio Committee, amongst others, require vetting to take place through the SSA. The State Security Agency delayed on that process and therefore delayed Parliament in finalizing the processes of interviews which Parliament must do in terms of the Act. Parliament subsequently approved the names in November 2022 and they were sent to the President. In the interim, in the absence of the board, the PFMA makes provision for the delegation of the Director General and or now an individual to assume the responsibilities of the board as the accounting authority on an interim temporary basis. When we met with the SABC in November, they had not done that, and therefore the meeting was not in a position to proceed as we discussed then. We rescheduled that meeting to give them space and time to get their house in order insofar as leadership is concerned. And the meeting was convened today. The delegation was effected on the 15th of February 2023, which gave the delegation or the designation as accounting authority to the CEO. The CEO then, it emerges now, is not happy or not in agreement with some of the content insofar as limitations to the implementation of financial commitments is concerned, and therefore is not accepting the delegation, taking us back to square one. But what is abundantly clear is that there is a total collapse of leadership and governance at the SABC and at the Department of Communication as the shareholder representative for failing completely to exercise correctly the coping mechanisms in place by the PFMA to allow them to continue with operations in the absence of the board. So in other words, whether there's a board or no board, whilst it is a matter of grave concern to us and one which must be resolved as a matter of urgency, at this point is neither here nor there, insofar as that the law doesn't allow for a vacuum. They have failed within the mechanisms in place to utilize those provisions of the law. That's point number one. Secondly, what is abundantly clear here is that there is miscommunication by the Department of Communication and the SABC. The Deputy Minister cannot find out here from the SABC and the CEO to say, well, actually there's a problem with the delegation which prompted us to agree that you come with us to go to the SCOPA meeting. And then when they get here, they drop this bombshell. It is reckless, it's irresponsible, it's a dereliction of duty and a waste of taxpayer money.